And a big hello and welcome to all of our troops logging in across the globe, wherever you may be. I'm your host, Chris Jacobs, and this is the next in our series of USO MVP Entertainment. It is my honor and my privilege to welcome in the dynamic duo of Robert Irvine and Gail Kim. How are the two of you doing today?
Woo, woo! Hey, so what are you doing? I hope you're ready, Chris, and I hope all them folks around the world are ready because we are ready to go.
I know they're ready. You guys are obviously ready. And I first of all want to say hello to you guys, my fellow Discovery family of networks peeps.
No, we got to do something together, dude.
We definitely do, because I want to jump right in and talk to you about the amazing dinner that I made last night. You know, in this quarantine, I've been making some amazing dinners, and I made a tuna steak that I turned into a bolognese sauce last night, which was fantastic.
You did what? So
first I fried a tuna steak, and then I chopped it up, and I made a bolognese out of that. I put in some eggplant.
What are you doing?
Justin and you together.
Oh, I would kill you for that.
I'm improvising, Robert.
But why would you take a perfectly good tuna steak and turn it into a bolognese? Open a can of tuna.
No, man. No. You want that freshness. I mean, come on. You of all people should know. You want the fresh.
He ruined a piece of tuna into a bolognese. He chopped it up and put it into a bolognese, which heats up, which means it cooks.
See pictures of this.
What you do is, what I did was you just kind of, flash it on both sides so it's still raw in the middle. And then I cut it into chunks, and it continues to cook in the bolognese, and all that great flavor gets out into the marinara. You're being a skeptic. Don't be a skeptic.
This is a look of disgust. If you're around the world, listen to this, Chris guy. Do not do that.
Hey, come on. You love a challenge. This is quarantine. All bets are off.
Listen. Be more open-minded.
Listen. I can cook for 30,000 troops in the middle of nowhere, which we've done, by the way. You know, and Jeremy Wilcox, who's on us, he's our amazing babysitter when we go on our tours. He will tell you I can cook anything from anything quicker than you can do 100 push-ups.
Oh, I know. I researched you, man. I've seen all your stuff. I know what you're about. All right, let me tell everybody who is logging in that you can use the Q&A feature to type questions in that I will then relay to Robert and to Gail. So if you'd like to ask them a question, please type it into the Q&A section. We've got a couple up there already, which I'll get to in a second. But first of all, Robert and Gail, I want to ask you guys, how have you been spending your time during the lockdown? What have you been doing to stay busy?
Oh, we've been cooking a lot, just like you. And it's funny because we're just getting really adventurous in the kitchen. We did a couple of live videos together, and we've been really getting along, actually, which is awesome.
Yeah, normally we're traveling 345 days a year. We spend 11 days in this house, and we've spent 6 weeks together.
Yeah.
That's a miracle, by the way, right?
It's good though, because we get each other's flow, give each other space, come back together.
We do social distancing. We work out, we go on a bike ride for 8 miles one day, 20 miles the next day. Then Gail's reading, you know, she's in this project she's doing right now. So she's either outside reading or listening, and I'm inside watching TV or Zooming or doing something, right? So it's called at-home social distance.
It's good though. We get each other's vibes, which is great.
That's great. You guys are locked into each other. And being married, by the way, you don't have to stay 6 feet away as you're doing right now. The social
we're good.
By the way, if you think that's not even 6 inches, dude. This is my wife.
Get as close as you want. You guys are
this is how we met on my TV show. I literally put an apron on her, and then she was cutting a lettuce leaf, and she was like this the whole time.
Oh, okay, it was me.
You know, I actually, when I was doing my research, I read that you guys met on your show, Robert. Were you thunderstruck? Was it love at first sight?
Actually, I would say it begins with L, lust first, then love came after.
Yeah, well,
right.
That's accurate.
Because I was blown away, but I was doing a show with WWE and Dinner Impossible WWE. Gail was in WWE, and this girl came in this purpley colored dress, and I was like, as much stressed I was like, OMG.
And then I walked in, and so female wrestlers are very independent and strong, like, don't help me with my luggage, don't do this, I can do it on my own. And I walked onto set, and Robert was just so in charge, and At that moment, I didn't realize that I really wanted like a strong man to match my strong woman thing, you know, and we've been a perfect match ever since, I think.
Yep.
It's great. Very cool. I love that story. All right, let's jump into some of the questions. We've got Stephanie Barnett, and it's actually not a question, it's a statement. She says she met you at Fort Campbell. You did a video with her for a woman named Julianne, so she wanted to thank you for doing that.
Well, she's welcome. It was my pleasure.
Kelly Rushford is a question for Gail. Do you agree with the WWE still performing during the pandemic?
Oh,
big subject.
I actually do not, if I'm going to be honest. I understand the business implications of all of that, but I am safety first and foremost, and our business is a physical business and it's a respiratory virus. And I just feel like, especially with the symptoms, you know, you can not even know you have them and pass them along. So for me, I would choose safety first.
Gotcha. Sorry to hit you with such a controversial question.
No.
That was a good one. That was a good one. We've been talking about that.
I'm going to be honest.
Appreciate that answer. Okay, from Lauren Peppers, for both of you, what's your favorite post-workout meal? You know, there's a lot of talk about pre-workout meals. What's your favorite post-workout meal?
Robert and I have such different taste buds.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you tell yours and I'll tell mine then.
Well, Robert.
Well, you tell me what mine is.
Well, either you're going to have a shake. Or,
right.
I mean, Robert doesn't eat a lot. It's so weird.
Gail eats Gail eats about 6 times as much as me in a day, and that's a true story. She has done ever since I met her, and that's what I loved about her. She wasn't afraid to eat. Yeah. When we work out, I normally do a shake afterwards, but I love sweet stuff. So I love, at the end of a meal, I love something sweet, or at the end of a workout, I need something sweet to tell me that it's over. Subliminally, we're trained that way. I love comfort food. For me, mashed potatoes. Gail, we've been eating a lot of air-fried potatoes with chicken thighs the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm playing a lot.
And yesterday, Gail made a tofu, I mean, blew me away, tofu dish with a mushroom broth and all this, I mean, from scratch. Not the tofu, but everything else.
Black bean sauce, yeah. Well, it was supposed to be something else, actually. It turned into that. And
you're not supposed to tell him that. That's what
again, it's quarantine. All bets are off. You can improvise as much as you want in the kitchen.
This is the time to play and just, you know,
so what's your favorite meal then?
My favorite meal after? Well, I'm a protein shake as well, but I'm on the cleaner, healthier side. He's kind of more like, you know.
She's very clean. She eats clean. I eat garbage. Clean. I eat garbage.
No, you don't eat garbage. You're in moderation. And I think that that's important. If you work hard, then enjoy life.
Absolutely. You know, in fact, I already got my Tabata in this morning, so I'm good to go. I like getting it in as early as possible so it can be over with. But you're like me, Robert, you don't shy away from the carbs. I eat a ton of pasta, a ton of potatoes, a ton of bread.
So I worked out at 6 o'clock this morning. I did 45 minutes on an incline on a machine and my weights and my shoulder repair type thing. I came back, had bacon and egg, 4 bacon and egg potato rolls, coffee, and then I'll do this. Then I've got some voiceovers this afternoon here, and then we'll go on a bike ride, an 8-mile ride, and then I'll eat whatever. So
that's great. I want to remind everybody that you can ask a question of Robert and Gail by just typing it into the Q&A box, which is at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and I'll get to as many of those as I can. In fact, let's get to one right now. Catherine Dean asks, what is your go-to hype music? I assume when you're working out.
Yes.
Oh, see, listen, I am a really old guy, right? So take it the way this meant. I love, and all these young servicemen and women are going to go, what? I love ABBA. I love military band music. I'm an old kind of, I don't like heavy metal banging, you know, I like soft and it focuses my mind.
Yeah.
Basically, he listens to Celine Dion when he was
Well, Robert, you're old school like I am. You can see my vinyl collection right here. You got to come over and spin some records and drink some wine sometime. I'm old school like you, so that's really cool. And Gail, what about you? What kind of music hypes you up when you're working out?
Yeah,
I'm very top 40. I'm not a huge music person, so I just listen to top 40. Whatever gets my, you know.
apart from two or three like pre-workout pills, I mean, there's the music. Not really. It's the pills, dude. She's like, oh, I need another. Did I take one of them?
It's like my coffee when I wake up.
Robert, talk about how great it is to be able to combine your passions for fitness and for cooking, and to be able to bring that to the world through your television show.
You know, for me, I was blessed. I was in the Navy and the Marine Corps, obviously in England. Learned how to cook on warships and bases, and really had a passion for feeding people. And what excites me the most, and people will say this all the time, what is your passion? Is it food? And it's not. My passion is not food. Food is a vehicle that allows me to get to do USO tours, to get close to men and women. The military is my #1 passion. I served in the Majesty's Royal Navy, as I said that. And for me, being part of something bigger than me and really, you know, serving my country. And now I get to do food, I get to do fitness, and I get to serve the amazing folks that are on the other end over here, and hundreds and thousands, millions of folks around the world. And I get the biggest high of going to a base. And now I'm a little older, as I said, but when the Marines in Okinawa, you get off a bus at 5 in the morning, having flown for, 2 days to get there, and they say, oh, there's the old guy, let's mess him up. And we go on a run and we work out, and then we eat, and I cook afterwards. Believe me, I'm ready to die. Jeremy will tell you, we work out for some unknown reason. All these kids want to beat me up working out. But it's such a great thing to be able to have a passion of food and fitness, because food, fitness, family equals fun.
You mentioned going on USO tours. Do you have a favorite story you can share from one of those USO visits?
They're all so unique. I've been on chairman's tours. I've been on vice chairman's tours. We have a whole team that does Robert Irvine live, and I want you to come on that. You would love it when we get through this pandemic. We've been to Djibouti, which was hilarious. Korea, where we had a host there that sang Gangnam Style, right? Gangnam Style. He just made me cry the whole time. He could do that. What was his name, Jeremy? I can't remember his name. Oh my goodness. This guy was so funny. Even though we're all tired and we did a lot of bases and Camp Humphreys and all these other places, this guy just made you cry on the bus. You cried when he would get up and start singing. And every
wasn't the actual singer.
No, it wasn't actual singer. It was
the actual side.
It was our guy. It was our guide that was there in Korea. But 2013, one that really sticks very close, and it wasn't a USO tour.
I just got a message. His name was Billy and Mr. Cho.
Billy and Mr. Cho. Oh my God. Oh, unbelievable. I want to go back there just to hang with them guys. I can tell you 2000.
Korea?
Yeah.
So I'm Korean, and he's been to Korea more recently.
More times than you have. Yeah.
And I go to England at least once or twice a year, and he never goes back there.
No.
So we kind of go to each other's home.
So in fact, talking about Korea, so 2013, we did a big event. It's called, I can't remember what it's called, something with Afghanistan. We were feeding, there was a tribute band, there was a magician, a hypnotist, myself, Operation Hot it was called. And we took all the food there, we cooked in Kandahar. And I think, TJ Fridays was still on the base then and whatever. And I never forget this. He was 2 stars then, he's 4 stars now, in charge of Korea. General Abrams said to us, so I want you, when you leave, to tell the American people what we do every day as a service member. And since that day, I've not stopped doing that, even though I did it before, but even more so. And I talked to General Abrams. I talked to him yesterday via Twitter. And I think that was one of the most memorable, to actually cook a meal for guys. And then Gail and I think it was 2 years ago, the first time, or 3 years ago, I took Gail with Joe Dunford, General Dunford, on a USO tour, and you can tell a story about.
We did 2 Christmases in a row.
So we went to Mosul. There was 101st Airborne were there living in conduit pipes and tents, and we cooked a meal and did a USO, which is what USO does, right? It just brings a piece of home to you. And I never forget, I didn't want Gail to go. I was filming in California, and I got a call about going on this trip. And Gail, I called Gail, and it was so funny. I just said, "Hey, I think I may be going to Afghanistan for Christmas." Click. And
I was like, "You're not. I'm going with you. I'm going with you. Can I go with you?"
So I had to call. I had to call and get, you know, her pass kind of thing with Joe Dunford. And what did you say to me when you were actually on the tour? You actually.
So, you know, when I met Robert, because I grew up in Canada, I'm born and raised in Canada, and so military isn't so. People don't really talk about it. It's not at the forefront so much. The patriotism, I guess you are patriotic, but it's just so different to hear from Robert's passion of giving back to the military and him being part of the Navy. And I supported him, but I never really understood the sacrifice and everything that came along with it. And then to see it just in person at Christmas and see the sacrifice that all the military and soldiers were making for us, it just really opened my eyes to why he was so passionate. And it was just, both years were just such an amazing experience. I really, really enjoyed it, and hopefully we can do it again.
Obviously, you guys saying that answers Gail Swigert's question. She wanted to know why you participate in USO, so I think that was a perfect answer there. Let's get to another one from Lauren Peppers. She says, my husband, who is active duty, wants to go into the catering business when he retires from the military, specifically barbecue. Any advice for someone attempting this, to go into the catering business specifically?
What is his MOS in the military is the first question I would say. You know, there's a lot of barbecue restaurants out there. There's a lot of barbecue trucks. It's a great entry point into the business because you can learn and make mistakes while you do it, right? Because you're smoking, you're making your barbecue sauce, etc. And you start out doing local fairs and fetes and church gatherings, and you kind of hone your craft by doing that. And then I would say, hey, listen, put it on the road, get a food truck and do it. The less brick and mortar you have, the less overhead you have, the more chance you have of being successful. There are lots. Make sure when he gets out that he takes advantage of the bill, you know, GI Bill, to get trained, whatever he needs. But it's really about business. You know, anybody can cook. Look, I've been cooking all my life. I'm not that great, but it's the business mind that helps you be successful.
As well said. Thank you for that. Let's get to one from Stephanie Barnett. She says she's going through breast cancer. Do you have any quick, healthy recipes that will help her recover faster from her chemo treatment?
That's a tough one for me. And I'll tell you why, because Stephanie, right? Stephanie?
Yeah.
Stephanie, I've dealt with a lot of kids with cancer, with leukemia, stage 4, etc. What I would like you to do, rather than tell you what to do on here, if you could do me a favor, tell me via email. Can you email me what type of cancer and what the doctor said to you before, so I understand? Because I deal with different cancers and different foods, and I can help you better that way than say, hey, do this, and it's not the kind of cancer you have.
There's a great chef that's actually a friend of ours, Christina Perillo is her name, and she beat cancer through diet.
Yeah. She had stage 4 leukemia, and she turned to veganism. Her name is Christina Perillo. She has a couple of shows on CBS. Lots of book PBS, sorry, not CBS, PBS. YouTube. Lots of books. But if you email me at that, I can give you all the names of the books. I can give you some stuff, and I can help you out that way rather than kind of guesswork. It's like a crystal ball. Cancers are not all the same, so I'd rather do that.
And best of luck to you, Stephanie. My mom is a breast cancer survivor too, so you will get through this. We're sending you as much positive vibes as we can, and make sure to email Robert and get those tips from him, because
I promise you I answer my emails personally, so don't all email me at once.
I'm gonna send you some pictures of the sauce I made last night, Robert, and you're gonna be like, okay, I see what Chris was doing here.
It's not the sauce. I'm just worried you ruined a perfectly good piece of tuna.
I did not. It was delicious. I ate the whole thing. I can tell you, my stomach appreciated it. Yeah, see, Gail agrees with me. Not by the look on her face.
Like it. If you would just try it, you have to open up his mind to try it.
Exactly. We'll have a home and home when this is all done. We'll have a cook-off. Yeah. Now, Robert, talk a little bit about your restaurants. I know you've got 2 restaurants, right?
Well, we got 3. Actually, but one is in Allentown, which is closed obviously now. One in Vegas, which is closed at the Tropicana Hotel.
That's the public house?
public house. Hopefully they're going to kind of next couple of weeks see what's happening. We had a call about that yesterday. And then we have one inside the Pentagon itself called Fresh Kitchen.
Wow.
And the Fresh Kitchen is the only one that's open still. Obviously, there's so many, you know, the Pentagon anywhere from 25,000 to 38,000 people a day normally. I think we're down to about 4,000 or 5,000 right now. And we've kept open in a very limited menu. Obviously, a lot of changes have happened, gloves and, you know, all those kind of things that go on. But one of the things I wanted to make sure is that we continue to serve the folks that are serving us, regardless of making money. So a lot of people don't know the Pentagon is like the MWR. We give money to the MWRs. That's the rent basically goes to an MWR fund in the Pentagon. It's not MWR, but it's a fund like MWR that's welfare for the folks, for the gyms and all that kind of stuff. And we're losing a lot of money in there, but I really don't care. And I mean that most sincerely, because we're serving those that serve us. And there's and I said this earlier in a statement, something bigger than us. And I know that when we come out of this, a few changes, obviously, with the social distances and the restaurants and whatever seats, but I know that we'll come back and we'll bounce back and we'll figure it out. We'll pivot the way it's supposed to be, you know?
It must be a particular point of pride for you because you are so involved in the military and you know, having a restaurant in the Pentagon just must be so fulfilling for you.
It makes me, as an English guy, right? So I'm from England. I became a citizen of the United States 13 years ago. So I pay taxes and I vote, you know. But it's such an emotion every time I walk in a door, and all my team that work there and come in and out. When you walk through that door, and I know nobody on this call wants to be in the Pentagon, I get it, but I love it because when we built this restaurant, I watched it from ground up become this hub of activity. And now I know that the food is great, and I'm sure there's people on this call that have been there, seen it, or eaten there. We do a great job, and it's very fulfilling to me.
Let's get to another question here from Esther, and she would like to know, how are you keeping your workout routines while in lockdown?
I can show you, Gail's. It's all over the floor.
It's all over the floor, he says. Well, we're very, very fortunate because we have an outdoor area that, and we live in Florida. So
go on, you keep talking.
Oh, he's going to show you something. So I get to work out outside, get a little quick sweat on. We go biking. As soon as this quarantine started, I said, well, what are we going to do for cardio? And I said, let's go buy some bikes. And so we've really, at least we found the good in this whole quarantine process, because we've had these trails nearby for years and have never, ever even tried to explore them once.
All right, look. We got bands. We got balls. We got mats. And we got weights.
Ah, there you go. And the biking, I love the biking. I bike probably about maybe 60 miles a week too. So I love it.
Gosh,
yeah.
That's a lot. Okay.
We have what we call the Toluca Lake Biker Gang here in our neighborhood, and we ride, you know, because we've got nothing else to do, we'll go on a 20-mile ride like it's nothing. So I do that a few times.
No, don't be dropping that, because we did a 20-mile the other day too, dude.
But it was hard for us.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep up with you guys.
This is the truth.
My inspiration.
This is the truth. We end up going 10 miles because so we live in Florida, Tampa, or outside of Tampa. So there's a trail that goes 300 or 400 miles by the side of the road, you know, through the woods, etc. So we'll go 10 miles and we'll turn around and come back. And the first 10 miles we did was 38 minutes, right? Which is, I'm like, look at this. This is great. Coming back, it was like twice. The wind was against us. It was like the gerbil on the treadmill thing.
It's a factor you don't really consider, man. Wind resistance is really, especially on your way back, because you know you've already done all that work and your body's fatigued. All right, how do the two of you feel about a keto lifestyle? That's from D. Shreve.
You know, he'll say his opinion, but I am not a big believer in trend diets. you know, just coming out of high school, I kind of, you kind of learn, every person's body is so different that you can't just follow a general diet. To me, his body might react differently to carbs than mine does. So I'm very just about playing with different habits, I guess you could say, or food types, and then just learning about your body and what works for you. So I'm allergic to dairy, and then I decided to cut out all red meat, and I found that that works best for me. The difference it's made for me, energy-wise, digestion-wise, has been incredible. But for Robert,
it's very true.
Yeah.
Gail, when I first met Gail, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, I work in the gym, I go to the gym, you know, the impression, trying to impress kind of thing.
No. Wait, we went out. We went to the diner the very first time, like at 3 a.m. And I was like, oh, I'll have an egg white omelet with whole wheat toast, dry, sliced tomatoes.
3 o'clock in the morning.
And he's like, I'll have sausage, eggs over medium.
Bacon, bean, I love Blackfoot, I love everything.
And then he was trying to impress me for the next 8 weeks. And he said, look, I'm eating grilled chicken and vegetables. And he got shredded in 2 weeks. And I was just so jealous.
Listen, your answer, a question was about keto.
Yeah.
I have a guy, one of my chefs is doing keto. It's not for me. I am very moody when I don't eat. When I film a show that goes 48 hours, I eat breakfast and I don't eat much after that. And it took a couple of years for somebody to say that, oh, he's not bad mooded, he's just hungry. Yeah. You know, so I'm not a big believer in that, but you know, I'm going to do this in a minute. Listen,
oh God.
Look, dude. Oh, can you see that? Can you see that?
Pull it back a little bit. Oh yeah, there you go. I saw that when I was doing my
that was no keto. That was no abs. That was just, you know, that was just eating good food.
Did you almost pass out during the photo shoot from holding your abs flexed like that?
Listen, and you know, the funny part is that was when did I do that? Last year? 2 years ago.
Maybe
2 years ago. And I did. It was ridiculous. I didn't eat. We were on vacation in
well, Robert's got great genetics, and you know, genetics comes into play. We went on vacation for the Christmas holidays before that shoot, and I said, what are you going to do? You only have about a week or less to get ready for this shoot, because he was just drinking and eating whatever he wanted.
Tequila.
He's like, no problem. And he got ready in a week. It's unbelievable.
We were supposed to have our general meeting in Phoenix, and I moved the shoot up a week because I didn't want to go another week of not eating. The night before, we were in this 5-star restaurant in Phoenix, and I couldn't eat anything. And then I said to the chef, who I know, Bo McMillan, I said, hey, do you have any cheesecake? And he said, funny enough, we had a banquet and I've got some little cheesecakes. I'm like, get me them now. So I ate cheesecake. You remember this? I ate cheesecake. And at 9 o'clock in the morning of that shoot, Phil Heath, Mr. Olympia, said to me, oh, you got to drink 16 ounces of red wine. I said, at 9 o'clock in the morning? So I ordered 16 ounces of red wine. It cost me $54. From room service. I chugged the wine. That was the only thing I ate all day. And I was like this, trying to do the posing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
It's a great story. Well, I mean, the photos turned out amazingly well, and that's really what it's all about. Let's go to another question from Maria Platt. She's got a question about meal prep. She says, thank you for support for the military community. Do you have a meal prep routine for the week? And if so, please share it.
We don't, because in this environment, we buy food and we cook what we want. What I tell people, because we're on the road, we're in a different city every day or a different country every day, depending on what I'm doing. What I tell people is if you can, make a meal plan on a Sunday, shop on a Sunday, prep on a Sunday for the rest of the week, make the menu, plan it out, prep it out on Sunday as much as you can, and you should be able to put a meal on the table for a family of 4 or 1 or 2, whoever many, in 10, 15 minutes. There's nothing stopping you planning and purchasing the product, because we can peel vegetables, you can roast vegetables, you can do that in one day and have a full week's stuff ready. It's called, we do it in the restaurant industry, it's called mise en place, make ready, be ready. For when you walk in the door, it takes us minutes to make your food, unless it's a well-done steak, obviously. But
so just have it prepared, as opposed to having cooked food ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the more, if you cook food in advance, you lose the nutritional value of it. And I would say, guys, all those people out there, if there's Italians, I'm sorry, I'm going to insult you right now. You don't need olive oil. Use grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil is better for you from an omega-6 standpoint, but it also reaches a higher flash point when you cook and it has no flavor. Olive oil is simply for dressing of salads. That's it. You should not cook with olive oil because the minute it reaches 325 degrees, it becomes canola oil. It's no good for you. So please don't cook with olive oil. I don't care if somebody says, you know, bitter, right? She's a good friend of mine. And the olive oil's got a bitter aftertaste. So if you're making a dressing or shrimps or scallops, you're going to get that bitterness. Grapeseed oil, you won't. It's better for you. You add salt to grapeseed oil in a bowl. You make it microdermabrasion on your face. And if you put salt on carpet, it takes away all the smell. Exfoliator, yeah. See, health tips, cooking tips, and fitness tips.
You got it all. You got it all. You know what? That's a great distinction you make too between meal prep and meal preparedness. If you get everything ready to go, then you're going to do that prep time, that sous chef time beforehand. And then when you come in, you've got everything ready to go, and then you cook it versus cooking it beforehand. And like you said, losing that nutritional value of the food. That's a great answer, Robert. I appreciate that. A couple people have the same question. Stephanie Marsh and Aaron Loader, who is asking on behalf of Lieutenant Justin Loader in Virginia Beach. Thank you for your service, Justin. They would like to know, what is your favorite meal to make?
Anything. My favorite meal is probably roast chicken and mashed potatoes. I am a mashed potato freak. I truly believe that if you're making mashed potatoes, you got to boil the heck out of the potatoes till they're literally almost like water. Put 3 pounds of butter, white pepper, and salt in it.
Wow.
3 pounds of butter?
Not literally, but, you know, a lot of butter.
Robert likes it so fluffy, smooth.
See,
and like,
all those great descriptors.
No lumps. He's very
you put a lump
about it.
You put a lump in a mashed potato, it's going right back, and you're getting some verbal abuse.
For you.
If it's smashed potato, that's different. But mashed is almost, you should be able to put it onto a plate and with a spoon and just blow it, and it should be perfect.
Yeah.
Not black pepper, because it looks like the Teflon came off your pan. White pepper. And, you know, and all those people that buy pepper in big tubs, this is coffee mate, but big tubs like this, and they sit it in their pantry for 16 years, it's no good after 3 weeks.
Right.
You know, buy a coffee grinder, buy the things and grind them up yourself, because the oil, the essential oil in the pepper, is much better when you grind it fresh.
Yeah, that's a really good tip too. People should really go through their cabinets and just clear everything out that's been in there for longer than a few months, right? Because it's not only its flavor that it's supposed to have, but its nutritional value.
But remember, oil goes rancid too. Oil goes rancid after 2 or 3 months. So if you have nuts, what are nuts full of? Oil. So nuts can go rancid too. Pepper, salt. We have 3-4 different kinds of salt that we use. Mm-hmm. Sea salt, iodinized salt, kosher salt. You got to really be smart. You shouldn't need to get all these dry herbs and spices. Get fresh, get some lemon juice, orange juice, grapefruit juice. Citrus helps us digest. Literally.
But the fresh herbs you got to use quick.
Fresh herbs you got to use quick, but vinegar, citrus, great for making dressings. Mm-hmm. And when you make food with citrus or vinegars, it helps digestion straight away. It immediately you eat it, it starts digesting. You don't feel like,
I know that you've told me before that you can freeze some. Can you freeze herbs or?
You can freeze herbs, yeah, absolutely.
And then
the minute they come out the freezer, you've got to chop and use them because otherwise they turn to water.
Okay.
Now, Robert, of course, on your television show, you help out struggling restaurants. Do you have a memorable restaurant that you helped make over and turn successful?
We've done 210 or 215 shows, restaurants. 78% have been successful. I just finished last night. I don't know if some people may have seen it, the quarantine edition, where I did this to restaurants I've just finished. The Chianti Cow was one of my favorites. This is a guy that was CIA trained up in New York, Jervis, New York, Port Jervis, New York. Because he was a trained chef, it was hard to get through because I'm a chef and chefs have big egos. Sorry, they do. And this guy wanted to kind of I told him his food was garbage. His name, Lisa, and I've just talked to him. Anyway, he wasn't having anything that his food was garbage. I'm a CIA trained chef, since became one of my good friends. But to see him change when I took him to a market with fresh food was unbelievable. It was like the light. You know, we all go through these stages of, even all the guys and girls on this, we get bored, we get complacent because our job is so monotonous, right? We get up, we do this, especially on deployments. Well, that happens to no matter where you are, no matter what job, and this had happened to him. Now he's killing it, doing amazing. There was one called Mama Wade, who was 80 years old. She's an icon in the south of Chicago, feeding anybody. She literally, and this is what a saint she is, she's married, took out a mortgage on her house without telling her husband, who's older than her.
Oh boy.
Right? Without telling her husband, to pay for kids on the street to go to school. Oh. She is unbelievable. And now Kanye West is paying her to feed 600, or 600, I can't remember how many people in this pandemic. He's paying for it, and she's cooking. You know, there's so many great stories out there of people, again, servers above self, that don't care about themselves, they care about other people. And this woman is the epitome of excellence. Just, you know, took out a mortgage without telling her husband for kids. So there's lots of those stories.
That's really, really nice. Suzanne Johnson would like to know, first of all, she says, thank you, Robert, for all that you do. You are truly appreciated, and she really enjoys watching you on TV. Any chance you'll be doing something live in Southern California anytime soon?
Well, at the moment, so I'm hoping, and this is a big hope, that we return to filming on the 25th of May. We talked yesterday about, we have a live show that travels the country. But we just literally, it all depends on what's happening in the next couple of months. I can't say that I'm going to, but I will say that I'm going to say it on here anyway. What? We're going to do Dinner Impossible.
Oh, okay.
Right? We're going to do Dinner Impossible for those that loved it. It's coming back. No, they don't. They do now.
This is an exclusive.
Don't tell Food Network I told you.
Worldwide exclusive.
Justin Leonard, my guy, my COO, sitting on his like, you shouldn't have said that. So we're going to do some Dinner Impossibles. We were supposed to be already filming that in Hawaii 3 weeks ago when this pandemic, 4 weeks ago when this started. We're going to do more of Restaurant Impossible. And literally when we start on the 25th, if we start on the 25th, I don't think we're going to stop. And we'll be all over the country. And what I normally do is, if we're traveling, you'll see it in the newspaper, you'll see it on the phones, and I post about it anyway. And if we're there, please, any member of the military, any branch, if I'm somewhere, you come up, they will stop. My whole team knows that if we get members of the military or veterans, we stop everything and you know, we make a big deal, because it's a big deal to me. So you're welcome to any of them. And if there's any shows, live shows coming up, I'll post them on chefirvine.com. I think it's chefirvine.com. Mm-hmm. Or on my Twitter at Robert Irvine, and you'll know about it.
Great. All right. Gail, we got a question for you. There's wrestling fans of yours out there logging in too. Catherine Dean would like to know, if you can narrow it down to one, what was your favorite wrestling moment?
Oh, boy. Yikes. Oh, man.
Yeah, you got so many.
Oh man, I guess being the first women's champion in the company that I work for now, TNA Impact Wrestling, because I've had so many other accomplishments that I'm proud of, but that was the culmination of years of hard work, and actually have it pay off in that one moment. And it's a huge deal, I guess, for me anyways, and just fighting for women's wrestling, and to have the women's division be successful and then bring a title in. It was, yeah, that was.
I will tell you something. When I met Gail, I was not a wrestling guy any way, shape, or form. I'm still not. I'm still not. I watched her in some of her matches. And first of all, I'm extremely proud of what she does and who she is, because she's very strong, opinionated, strong woman, says what she feels and feels what she says. and to
It's the
watch these
Korean in me.
and to watch these matches, like it's like guys duking it out. It's real. If you know people when she hits you, she's hit me. Believe me, and I cry like a baby. I never get it. I'm going to tell a story. We were at her house. I came out the shower, sat on this bed, and she came out and after a shower, and she hit me with this. What do you call that? It was
a clothesline, like a flying clothesline. I came running out of the bathroom and he was sitting on the bed and I did a running, jumping clothesline on him.
Yeah. And I'm like, what was that? And she says, I just love you. I'm like, well, don't love me anymore. Oh, she hurts. She doesn't know when she plays, it's not really playing. You know what I mean, guys? I mean,
she's working out on you. She's trying out some moves, you know.
I've slowed down.
Yeah,
hey, well, let me ask you guys, where can people find you on social media? Robert, you mentioned your Twitter. Do you have Instagram also?
We have Instagram at Chef Irvine. We have
at Robert Irvine Twitter.
At Robert Irvine Twitter. We have Facebook. We have 1 million followers on Facebook today, I think, somewhere like that. Getting close. We also have a foundation website. You know, we have our own Robert Irvine Foundation that takes care of our men and women in the cloth of our nation, wear the cloth of our nation, and firefighters and first aid, and that's about it, I think. Right?
I'm Twitter and Instagram, Gail Kim. It's me.
Got you. Yeah. All right. Well, look out for a message from me. My Instagram is at ChrisJacobs70, and I'm going to send you some pictures of that meal I made last night. Yes. And the next time you guys are in LA, I want you to come over to my house. I'm going to run the gauntlet. I'm going to make dinner for you guys, and I'm going to prove to you that I am worthy.
So you just stole all the people that were going to go to my Twitter and social media. You stole them to yours. That was a really subtle way to do that, dude.
Instagram, he said. Instagram.
I'm a seasoned pro just like you are, Robert. Just like you are. All right, let's finish up. I want to give you guys a moment to give a message of thanks and hope to the troops watching.
For us, I should say, we want to say that thanks to all of you and many, many thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions out there that stand to watch every day. No matter what job you do, no matter how monotonous it gets, we couldn't have this freedom if it wasn't for you. The sacrifices of yourselves, your families, we know what it's like. We love each and every one of you for what you do and what you bring to us. And we're always there for you.
Appreciate you every day, always. Hopefully, once we get out of this coronavirus, we can come and see all of you guys wherever you may be. That's one of our favorite things to do throughout the year is go on the USO tours and get to interact with all of you. And thank you for what you do.
Yeah, it's very, guys, you have no idea what you do because it's your job, right? And that's what I hear so many times when we visit. Oh, we're just doing our job. No, you're doing a lot more than that. And there's a great country here that believes in you more so now than ever. And we thank you for that because it's huge. Thank the USO for always being there and bringing a piece of home. You know, we are the force behind the forces. You're the forces, Chris. That includes you and on all the guys, the USO around the country and around the world that we get to play with and have fun with.
You guys should do a cook-off for them, right? The bolognese.
I'm down.
I just love the way that she keeps volunteering.
And I will be the judge. I
love that too. And hey, I'm a pescatarian, Gail, so you'll be able to eat my cooking.
Okay.
There's no red meat at all in there. But I want to say thank you to you guys, Robert Irvine and Grace Kim. Thank you so much for joining us here on this USO MVP Entertainment Series. And thank you all for logging in and asking questions of Chef Robert and Gail. And please check back your local USO center for future MVP event information. Guys, I will be speaking to you soon, and look out for those pictures I'm going to send you on Instagram.
Yes.
I am
USO.
following you.
Oh, look at that.
All right, you guys, take care, and thanks for watching.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.